Federation looking at activities of man. When I say man, I mean human beings, as far as government activities is concerned. Today, I have with me the Osun State Resident Commissioner in charge of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, the one we call ICPC. Yes, ICPC in Osun State. Let me formally welcome Mr. Ademola Bakari on board Breakfast Dialogue this beautiful Sunday morning.
You are welcome, sir. Good morning, sir. Viewers at home, good morning.
Yes, you have heard him. Good morning to viewers at home and good morning to Mr. Bakari. Yes, taking the bull by the horn, ICPC. To many Nigerians, there has been this conflict between what ICPC and EFCC, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, stands for. For the benefit of our viewers at home, teaming viewers at home, can you quickly shed more light on the activities of the two agencies?
Thank you. Whether there are overlaps in the activities of ICPC and EFCC has been a subject of discussion over a period of time. But the ready answer that we normally give is that there is no overlap at all. Yes, in the implementation of the mandates of the two agencies, yes, there could be things that seems as equivalent, because ICPC as a primary anti-corruption agency in Nigeria is established to implement this, the Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Act 2000, whereas the EFCC was established to implement the Money Laundering Act, as well as the Anti-Terrorism Financing Act, and so on and so on. Basically, ICPC deals with public sector corruption.
Public sector corruption.
And in the public sector, corruption cannot exist alone in the public sector without the connivance or without the connivance of the private sector. Public sector is not standing alone. So there will be times that you will delve into public sector and the private sector corruption as well. Ditto for EFCC. While you are fighting economic crime, financial crime, the banking sector is involved, which is essentially private sector. But you trace the offense to public sector organization. So you will find EFCC doing, some public sector anti-corruption too. So to that extent, yes, people may be right. But the two organizations, we understand our mandates very well. When we receive petition from members of the public that falls under the purview and jurisdiction of EFCC, we know how to send it to them, and they do likewise to us. We can even start investigation on a particular case, and when we get a we need their input. They come into it. Ditto. Let me give you an example. The celebrated Bode George case was actually done by EFCC, but they used this, and we had to collaborate with them in order to get it done. Yes, so the two agencies, we do not have problem of this overlapping thing that members of the public, we understand our various mandates.
It seems you have attempted to answer my next question. We're talking about conflict between the two agencies in the pursuit of the mandate given to the two agencies. Has there been any reasons for conflict between the two agencies?
Essentially, there can't be. There can't be. The corruption problem in Nigeria is enormous enough that even more agencies may be needed, or we expand our operation in order to be able to deal decisively with the enormity of the corruption problem in Nigeria. What people see, because it does happen, that we will step into a particular case, and when you are asking the accused person or the organization at the center of that case for document, they will claim that EFCC is looking at the same case and they have the document. So if we are told that, we cross-check with EFCC. Are you doing the case? If they are doing the case, how far have you gone? If you have gone far and we are just about to start, go ahead and do it. Complete it, we are interested. And they know that they are interested, they will share experience or their whatever with us. We do likewise to them. But let me say this much: the operators of the system, the operators of the two laws, we understand the mandates given to us, and we do not cross. There can't be conflict. We are children of the same father. So there can be conflict.
We have other federal government agencies who are also children of the same father, but there's always conflict. The police, the civil defense, the military.
Yes,
there's always conflict.
Human nature. Human nature will bring about, because you feel that you get to a particular place, you are asking for document, and they say EFCC has taken it. Probably your ego may be bruised a little bit. What you need to go beyond that. It's not about you, it's about the country. If they are doing the work and they are doing it well, why should I worry? I want to do it. If we are doing it together, there have been several times that we have worked together. The same investigation team. We bring men, and we do things together. Federal government gives us assignment together. Assignment that could not be categorized as clear-cut public sector corruption or clear-cut private sector corruption. If it's a combined thing, we do it together.
But in that wise, some watchers of events have canvassed for the margin of the two agencies. Their reason is that there's duplication of mandate responsibility, that we don't need the two agencies. If one could do the same thing, apart from the agencies, the police also have their own a unit that also does the same thing that EFCC and ICPC are doing.
If it is that easy, I think federal government will have acted on that particular suggestion by members of. Let us look at fighting corruption is not just local, it is international. The UNCAC, United Nations Convention Against Corruption, specified, and Nigeria happens to be a signatory to that, specified what to be done to fight corruption at the local level and at the international level. He said specialized agencies to do a particular thing. That UNCAC law, signed into by ICPC, signed into by Nigeria, created ICPC as the agency to fight corruption. But the law, that particular UNCAC, announced it other specialized agencies to fight specific area of corruption. If you look at it critically, NDLA is fighting corruption as they relate to drugs. NAFDAC is fighting corruption and they relate to medicaments, food processing and administration. So fighting corruption from different angles. If you merge these agencies together, you are creating a bureaucracy that will become unwieldy. It is the unwieldiness of the police force that made governments all over the world to be cutting their jaw for other agencies to do it more effectively. They are encumbered when you have too much to do. You do not want to emphasize one over the other, and at the end of the day, you'll be like jack of all trade, master of none. So creating this specialized pocket of agencies, otherwise traffic control, you wouldn't need federal road safety. You wouldn't need drug, police can do it, but they will not be able to do it the in-depth way that NDLEA is doing it. So to that extent, if you want to fight corruption effectively, merging is not the issue. Empowering the agencies more should be the issue.
Well, if you are just joining us on the program is Breakfast Dialogue, and it is coming your way from the stable of Osbc Television. My guest on the program this morning is Mr. Demola Bakare, Resident Commissioner ICPC in Abia, Osun State, and talking about debilitating of public sector corruption to the survival of the nation. How has this affected growth and development of the country called Nigeria?
If you ask me, and I said in very, very grievous way, corruption has meant underdevelopment for Nigeria. We are not where we're supposed to be in the Committee of Nations. And if you know the amount of money that goes into corruption, if that amount of money is available for development, we won't be where we are. Look at the state of healthcare system in Nigeria. Look at the state of our education. Look at the state of our roads infrastructure. Look at the case of the state of the power sector. Every sector that you turn to, there are roads. And even the security sector, we are grappling with security challenges in Nigeria. And if you trace it deep down, you will trace the problem in that sector to the problem of corruption. So corruption has been a major pain of the Nigerian society. What differentiates the corruption exists all over the world. Corruption is not a native of Nigeria, it's a universal citizen. But what differentiates countries from countries is the effort that they are putting to be able to fight corruption. And I can say that since the inception of the civilian administration in 1999, ICPC was established in 2000 as one of the key agencies to fight corruption before 2003 when EFCC. So we have made efforts, and the efforts is debatable whether the effort is yielding results. But from my own perspective, I know that my organization is not relenting. We are working day and night. So to that extent, and we can see the visible impact that the agency is making in the fight against corruption. But if you ask me, enormity of the corruption problem in Nigeria, it has serious debilitating effect on the development.
Yes, I know it is debilitating, and all eyes could see how debilitating the effect of corruption in both the public and private sector is in Nigeria. But fighting corruption to many people is a challenging task. Much as you are doing to fight corruption, much is corruption fighting back. how challenging can we overcome the menace of corruption in the country? Is it possible?
Yeah, it is possible.
How?
It has been done before. It is being done in subcline. It has been done. And I want to cite the example of some Asian country. Hong Kong, Singapore. The problem of corruption in Singapore some 30, 40 years ago was bigger than what we have in Nigeria. It was a syndicated form of corruption. For instance, when you wake up in a particular day and you see policemen in Hong Kong 40 years back, you see them wearing black band. They have indicated the amount of money they are going to be collecting as bribe on that day. You know, everybody knows. It's syndicated and everybody like it was normal. It was normalized. But something happened. The chief of police in that country was embroiled in a controversy of bribe taking, and he was taken from him. Judgment was passed on him. He was fined. He pulled out the money, he paid the fine there and then, and people started the agitation. And okay, there must be more from where that thing came. How a public officer, a chief of police, how is he able to pay that fine there and then? That opened the Pandora doors. It was the people of Hong Kong that demanded that corruption must be fought in the Hong country. Our own case in Nigeria is not like that. It's the government that wants to fight corruption. That is why it is imperative that people come into the fight against corruption to meet up what the effort that the government is, so that at the end of the day we can have successful fight against corruption. But it can be done. It has been done before. And if you look at what we have, especially the law establishing ICPC, if you compare what they are doing in Hong Kong when they decided that we were going to fight corruption, if you compare our law and the law they used to fight corruption effectively in that place, it's almost the same thing. They have three-pronged approach to fight corruption, which is enforcement of the law, they have prevention, and they have public mobilization. And that's the replica of what we have in Nigeria. That we receive petition from members of the public, we investigate and we prosecute. But the effort, for instance, because it is the people in Hong Kong that insisted that corruption must be fought, the judiciary do not delay. People give information willingly. And adjudication, if you start a case in Hong Kong, I mean, I was in Hong Kong in the year 2006 to understudy them and we reported back to India. If you start a case in Hong Kong, 7-14 days you have completed, and probably that person has been jailed.
So there is need for collaboration across people and the judiciary. Well, by tomorrow, Monday the 29th, Nigeria will have another transition from one civilian administration to another. There will be a change of pattern, not only from one president to another, but from public sector workers to another. What roles is ICPC expected to play in this interchange of powers of administration?
As they say, soldier go, soldier come, barracks must remain. ICPC, we have alone. Nigeria has what we call the National Anti-Corruption Strategy, NACS. So, our job, what we are supposed to do is clearly cut out for us. What you may want to wonder is the emphasis that one administration will place on the fight and support that one administration may give to the fight as differentiated from another administration. There is that leadership differences. There's that style. So the tone from the top may be different too. But I do not emphasize that because every politician knows that if we are able to, the politician want to develop, they want to deliver on the promises, and corruption will not enable you to, because the resources that they are going to use to deliver on the mandate, if it is being siphoned, you won't be able to deliver, and people will take you as a liar. You may lose election the next time around. So every politician, and I believe the incoming administration, must understand that there is need for them to empower agencies fighting corruption one way or the other, so that they will have enough resources. The resources will not be wasted on something while their promises are not being kept. If a government wants to deliver on its promises to the general public, that government must emphasize the fight against corruption. And I believe that the incoming administration will not depart from the support, the tone that they have set for the anti-corruption crusade in Nigeria. I believe.
You are just joining us on the program that is a Breakfast Dialogue. My guest is still Mr. Ademola Bakare, Resident Commissioner ICPC in Osun State. Time is fast taken. But before we go, Mr. Ademola Bakare, as we shall be experiencing another transition from one civilian administration to another tomorrow, Monday, what will be your general advice, not only to the public service workers, but the generality of the public, on the need to team up, to work together, to collaborate, not to allow corruption to fight back?
Sincerely, corruption mutates, it changes form, but any responsible agency must be a step ahead, and that we have done at ICPC. We are in the world of forensic investigation, forensic analysis. Your handwriting can be analyzed and know that you are not the owner of this handwriting. Somebody signed this thing for you, or you copy it. It's not the person's signature. You are presenting a document from an agency of government to me. I know that you signed it. Forensic analysis, handwriting analysis. We are ahead. So what I expect from members of the public, no successful anti-corruption can take place without the support of the people. I want absolute support of the council. Let there be attitudinal change, behavioral change. Behavioral change. This thing is affecting us negatively. Let us decide in our heart to reject corruption. Those of us, some of us that will not do that easily, let us resist them. Let us tell them to their face that you are doing something that is negative to our country. Having done that, resist them, report them if they will not change, and see what will happen. But members of the public will caress issue of corruption. They will paint it in glowing terms in the newspaper, during commentaries on radio, on television, but they won't come forward to report or to substantiate what they have reported. So many times agencies of government have gone on wild goose chase because the information given to us. Imagine if somebody is reported to have embezzled 400 billion as a governor, 400 billion, and you calculate the entire 4 years that he has, and the resources available to that government is not up to 400 million. You know that. So members of the public, in reporting corruption, even to us, Don't let them exaggerate it. Let them say it the way it is. If it is 20 naira, don't say it's 200 naira. You put the agencies off if you have started your reporting with lie.
Well, on this note, I want to say my bye on this week's edition of Breakfast Dialogue. I've been having a good time with the resident commissioner, ICPC, Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, in Osun State, Mr. Ademola Bakari. I want to appreciate your presence on the program.
Thank you, sir.
And I want to also appreciate the support of the following officers of the ICPC in Osun State: Mr. Aziz Lawal, Head System Study and Review Department, ICPC in Osun State; Winifred Ngobro, Head Public Enlightenment and Education Unit, ICPC, as well as Mr. Julius Oga, Head Investigation, ICPC, Osun State. I appreciate your support. And not forgetting my cameraman, Taufik Ahmed, and my assistant on the program, Saya Anoride. The producer of the program is Akinola Owolabi. My name is Adeyemi Abodene. Please do join me next week when I bring another guest on board Breakfast Dialogue. We thank you for being there, and good morning.